Hey, Yetta, imagine turning every dollar we have into 4 or 5. Intrigued?
I am intrigued for sure, and I trust you will be too.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward together with the Dekker Team.
We are honored that we've been able to create for you free access to over 653 Life's Inside Track episodes where we share real estate insider tips, insights, making house home, how to do good with your money. And the great news is you get access to them from home, from the office, or on the go. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Dekker Team YouTube channel, if you haven't, because it's even more fun learning and growing together.
Well, and you might not be able to watch CHRI every day or listen to CHRI, sorry.
On Fridays?
On Fridays at 9:30. And whereas then this is, like you said, from anywhere.
From anywhere, anytime, anyhow. Well, maybe not anyhow.
Right.
So we're going to explore building tomorrow. You get to use you get to supercharge a superpower called leverage.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to consider and explore and unpack, and hopefully
We might even throw in a few other advantages of real estate. And leverage is the superpower.
it is this, and it supercharges the superpower.
Yeah, if if higher interest rates and inflation is your kryptonite,
Right.
leverage is your superpower.
If you leverage wisely.
Mhm.
Because this is all about creating a secure tomorrow, setting it up
On a
today
strong foundation.
on a strong, solid foundation for Canadians, because it's harder than it's ever been. Well, I don't know if it's harder than it's ever been, but that's certainly the adage.
It's the way it feels.
It's the way it feels. That's what we say, right? It's the
And
way
maybe
most
it feels
of us
that
look.
way because we're looking at the baby boomers, and the baby boomers, many of them, have significant wealth built up through the good years of the,
Mhm.
and as a matter of fact, 90% of millionaires, we're talking about that, say that real estate is a significant part of their portfolio. It's part of becoming a millionaire. And, even a million might not be that much for retirement these days, depending on how long you're planning on living.
Right.
That's the problem. People live longer than they used to.
Okay,
so if you live an extra 20 years, you got to pay for that 20 years.
Right. Well, I don't know if I call it a problem. It's part of the situation we find ourselves in.
the problem is that your life extends beyond your money.
Right.
That's
That
a
is
problem.
the problem. So the
power
great
of
news
leverage.
about joining the Dekker Team is we will help you unpack and acquire a house, because a house, or maybe several houses, because a house does not only offer a roof over your head.
Mhm.
A house actually offers stability and lucrative
Mhm.
opportunities in retirement,
Right.
because they're not going out of style.
No, people need housing. We have a severe shortage of housing. We have a shortage of rentals for all the people that have been emigrating. And, some of them can afford to buy a house. Many of them can't.
And certainly not quickly.
Yeah.
So back to leverage.
Okay.
That's what we want to talk about.
Yeah. So here's the beauty with leverage. Real estate in the Ottawa area has averaged over the last 20 years about 5%.
Okay,
increase.
so you know what? You just said that the stock market and that's only performing at about 4%. There's no difference between 4% and 5%, really. That's negligible.
Right. But that's when I said, we want to turn $1 into 4 or 5.
I heard you say that.
Yeah. That's because real estate is safely leveraged. In other words, if you put 20% down on let's say, $1 million apartment building, and you put $200,000 down, when that $1 million increases by 5%, right? It's 20% is a fifth of the million.
Right.
So it's actually multiplied by 5. So instead of getting a 5% rate of return on your $200,000, you're getting a 25% rate of return on your $200,000.
Right.
Okay. So if it goes up 5% on $1 million, that's $50,000. your $200,000 has earned $50,000 in 1 year. And that's only one way that real estate increases in value.
Right, because we often talk about the 3 to 5 different ways that real estate increases in value. And I was just talking to one of my investor associates, and he was saying, no, you're undermining it. You're minimizing it. It actually has 8 ways. And so we will continue to explore that, unpack that with you. But right now, what we're saying, the leverage piece, because we can't take 35 years of, 70 years worth of wisdom and unpack it in a few minutes.
No.
So we'll touch on it.
Right. And, sometimes I have a beautiful little sports car.
You do.
And sometimes I show up to an appointment and people go, oh, real estate must be really, really good for you, the business. And I go, well, the business didn't pay for this car. Our real estate investments have paid for this car. Right? Because on a real estate income, it's difficult to put enough money away to have a fancy car.
Right, exactly. So one of the good things around real estate is the tax advantages. Is that also leverage in a way? You're leveraging the benefits.
Yes, because there's different ways of handling it. For instance, let's say the property makes some money. Well, as long as you're within the tax guidelines, you can depreciate the value of the property and that way not pay income tax on that revenue. Or sometimes people have too much revenue and the investment property actually shows a loss, and that loss decreases, it's a loss on paper, decreases the amount of tax they're paying on their higher income right now. Now, will it catch up to you? Eventually, it's delayed tax. When you sell it, you will pay capital gains on the growth, and the growth plus whatever you've depreciated it down is going to be capital gains. But many people, they don't sell them, right? They just pass them to family, or they re-leverage. If you're going to, you need some retirement funds, you just re-leverage that and get your original investment back out of it.
So now, so that we need to slow down and just say slower, because before we were able to do that, before we'd ever done that, I thought it was a bunch of, let's call it hogwash.
A bunch of hooey.
A bunch of nonsense, right? Like this does not make sense that I can be earning money on a property, increasing in value, plus getting cash flow over time on a property that I have $0 invested in.
Isn't that a beautiful thing?
And it's real. We've done it.
You just refinance it. You take out your original money. Now you can rework that money. We talk about it like, they say you can only spend your money once.
Right.
Unless you're buying real estate, because then you can pull it out and spend it again and still keep the asset. It's like eating the cake and having it too.
And if you haven't done it, if you think we're sounding too good to be true, we're not saying there isn't some things to navigate, that there isn't some things to think about, that there isn't a strategy to put into place. Of course there is.
There may even be some risks that we're going to talk about in the next segment.
Yeah, and we're going to encourage you to do that. Warren Buffett, I love what he said.
If you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you'll be working until you die.
So harsh. And we're going to apply some of that wisdom in the next segment.
Yeah. So together we're clarifying your options, because when your options are clear, your wisdom will flow.
Moving forward with the Dekker Team. Moving forward.